Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate 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 Vasudevaya.
Reading from Srimad-bhagavatam, first canto, chapter 7. The son of Drona punished. Text number 40. Sutta vacha.
Sutta vacha.
Evam pariksata dharma.
Evam pariksata dharma.
Artha krishnena chodita.
Artha krishnena chodita.
Naichadantum guru shuttam.
Naichadantum guru suttam.
Jajjapi atmanam ma.
Jajjapi atmanam ma.
Sutta. Sutta Goswami.
Goswami.
Uvacha. Said. Evam. This. Pariksata. Being examined. Dharmam. In the matter of duty. Artha. Shri Arjuna. Krishnena. By Lord Krishna. Chodita. Being encouraged. Naicha. Did not like. Hantum. To kill. Guru Shutam. The son of his teacher. Yadyapi. Although. Admahanam. Murderer of sons. Mahan. Very great. Sutta Goswami said, although Krishna was examining Arjuna in religion, encouraged Arjuna to kill the son of Dronacharya, Arjuna, a great soul, did not like the idea of killing him, although Asvatthama was a heinous murderer of Arjuna's family members. Purport. Arjuna was a great soul, undoubtedly, which is proved here also. He's encouraged here personally by the Lord to kill the son of Drona. But Arjuna considers that the son of his great teacher should be spared, for he happens to be the son of Dronacharya, even though he's an unworthy son, having done all sorts of heinous acts whimsically for no one's benefit. Lord Sri Krishna encouraged Arjuna outwardly just to test Arjuna's sense of duty. It is not that Arjuna was incomplete in the sense of his duty, nor was Lord Krishna unaware of Arjuna's sense of duty. But Lord Sri Krishna put to test many of his pure devotees to magnify the sense of duty. The gopis were put to such tests as well. Prahlad Maharaj also was put to such a test. All pure devotees come out successful in the respective tests by the Lord. Om Jnanatimandasya Gyanandana Salakya Shakshurminitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasudeva Gaura Bhakta-vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. First of all, the verse is speaking about Arjuna was encouraged to kill, and he didn't want to kill. And killing is such a thing that it's usually all over the news as another drama that just took place. Someone started killing, and we just think, when will this madness stop? How long is this supposed to go on for? I mean, it is so sad that people are so ignorant that they kill. So now we are here discussing great spiritual personalities, and Arjuna is such a personality, And now we are speaking about he's supposed to kill. So this is a little bit bewildering in the times. Therefore, I feel I first have to state that, although most of us may be familiar with the Vedic context, and therefore we don't blink an eye when we read such a text. Still, I feel I should preface it a little bit. So, we should understand the situation. We should understand that Arjuna is a ruler. He's a member of a royal family. The royal family is not ruling through a system of bureaucracy, as we have nowadays, which is impersonal, where there are many rules, but you can never see the ruler in person. You can somehow or other, online is the best. Right? Put your application in online, so we don't even have to see your face, other than the one that you sent us in the picture, which has to be, by the way, exactly in the front, not allowed to smile, so that and no glasses, so that our computer can do perfect face recognition on it. But certainly we will not deal with you in person. Oh no. Bureaucracy, therefore, is the system of the day, the system of the coward who is hiding behind such an administrative system. How different is the Vedic culture when we're speaking about heroic people who would stand up for what was just. Oh yes. A person who was a heinous killer, like Aswatthama, the son of Drona, who had killed 5 boys in their sleep. He was not to be spared, according to the system of law in the Vedic literature. Such a person. It is said that when in the Vedic literature that every action has a reaction, the law of karma. So if a person is engaged in killing someone else, then there is so much karma being generated by that act that the person will suffer over many, many lifetimes. However, if that person is punished by a just king, not just by anyone, but by an appropriate king who is adhering to principles of Dharma, then that person is actually and is given a death penalty. Then that person is relieved from all that karma, which otherwise would have taken many, many lifetimes to burn up. Therefore, it is said it comes to a point where this is required. Nowadays, in modern context, death penalty is a terrible thing. It should be stopped. It is cruel, but there are some advocates who are speaking in favor. And so the debate is going on, but it appears that the majority of the opinion is, no, this is too cruel. No, we should not take someone's life. It is because of our worldview, our outlook, our fundamental idea of what is the purpose of life. And the purpose of life, as we see it, is to enjoy in this world. This world is simply here for our enjoyment. It's a playground. Oh yes, it is. And there are many opportunities. Don't miss them. No, you would be a fool. Now that you can still enjoy to the fullest. You can retire from it in old age when you really cannot anymore. But now, please do not waste your youth. Enjoy. Because that's the purpose of life. That's the purpose of the world. So, basically, that is the worldview that is predominant. It is even found in biblical history, where it is said that God created this world for people to enjoy in Genesis. Is basically that statement is made. So Vedic literature doesn't exactly agree with that. Vedic literature is kind of taking a step back from this world and becomes an observer, the uninvolved observer. And the uninvolved observer is basically, what is he seeing? He's seeing that happiness and distress are alternating, just like waves, up and down, up and down. He sees, no matter what people's mentality is, happiness and distress are always alternating. So in this way, the uninvolved observer is seeing, what is the point? What is the point of working very hard and trying to bring things under control? We have all this energy around us, nature at work, all these ingredients, and we can combine them in many beautiful combinations. Build buildings from natural ingredients. Make sofas from natural ingredients. Everything, natural ingredients. Even plastic is ultimately a natural ingredient because the source of it is natural, is material in nature. Because we cannot create anything out of nothing. That we cannot do. We can only take the ingredients from nature, manipulate them. So, in one sense, even plastic is a natural product, but a product that has been kind of modified by human interference and has its advantages and disadvantages, its happiness and distress. And what does not have in this world this duality included in it? Everything. It's a given. So the uninvolved observer is not seeing the point. Is not seeing the point of working day and night or only 12 to 14-hour days. The unobserved, the uninvolved observer does not see the need to expend so much facility. But we do all these things out of love, you see. We do these things out of love because we love our family. That's why we do these things, you see. I mean, that is why we know it's not easy. We struggle, oh yes, we do. But we love our family. Yes, all right. But the world is overpopulated. No? They say, 9 billion, whatever it is, it's 7 billion, I forget the number. It's too many billions, right? They say, the world's overpopulated. So, why have more family? What's the point anyway? Says the uninvolved observer. Right? There's logic to what he says. The uninvolved observer is simply saying, why get involved? Right? Why get involved with all this complexity? Because, right? Sometimes they give these figures of what it costs to have a child, from birth to education until the kid is married, right? Or whatever, on its own. Megabucks, really, if you think about it, serious money. Right? I mean, not just a little. Heaps. Right? So what to do? So the Vedic literature, taking that position of the uninvolved observer, is basically saying, well, as we see it, we cannot really call this world a playground. That would not be the appropriate worldview. You cannot call it a playground because there is ample of suffering. And look, even if we would have a great time, like Sydney is sort of one of those cities in the world where the party never ends. You know, it is like a place where people enjoy most of the time. Oh, Sydney Harbour, you haven't even realized the beauty of Bondi Beach, you know, so many amazing places, come on. Sydney, Opera House, you know, unique in the world. It's like where you got something like that, really. And in the mood of Sydney, you know, it's sort of like very cosmopolitan, open-minded city. It's sort of like fun city. You know? When you, like, you know, write down 10 fun cities in the world. Yeah. A lot of, you wouldn't write down Jakarta, right? You know, but a lot of people would put Sydney in there. Oh yes, I think if we do a worldwide vote, together with Paris, probably New York, of course, you know, and like LA maybe. Even Amsterdam might make it in there. London definitely, and Sydney. Yeah, so click. Yeah, I think Sydney would be voted in as a fun city. Here we are. Ah, yes, it is. It is. Playground. So let's say, for argument's sake, Sydney is all fun. Whether that statement is true or not, that I leave up to you to decide. But today, for argument's sake, we say, Sydney is all fun only. That's Sydney. Yeah? Yeah? You experiencing it? Yeah. All fun. That's okay. But then, there's only one little hiccup. Oh, a hiccup in Sydney? Nah, can't be. Yes, it is. There's a hiccup in Sydney as well. What is it? The hiccup is Sydney is not eternal. No. Yes. Shocking. That's terrible. Oh my God. What could happen? Anything can happen. Could be hit by a tsunami, could be hit by a quake, it could run out of water. Many great civilizations of the past have ceased to exist due to drought. Oh, it's possible. Or this terrible, terrible fireball from some forest fire could just land, you know, and just ravage the city, something like Rome, and Nero would be playing on his violin, you know, somewhere in the city. The party would still go on while the city would be burning. All right, or the ultimate surf, the tsunami washes in, and there you go, on your boards, boys. This is the wave of your life, probably the last one, but you know, we're going out with a bang, big time waves. All right, enough about Sydney and the illustrations. So the Bhagavatam. The Bhagavatam is giving us a very sober perspective about the world. The Bhagavatam is not written in the mode of passion. The mode of passion, the mode of excitement. Whoa, look at that bike. Yeah, exciting. Ooh, look at that Maserati. Ooh, Maserati from Italy. Expensive, top dollar. Okay, would you like to have a spin? Maybe. Yeah, somebody enjoys dress to kill. Yes. I love to be loved. Oh yes. I love to be loved. Yes, in competition with the Supreme Lord. Trying to be the center of the universe. Again, the uninvolved observer is unaffected. The uninvolved observer is simply regarding this world and saying, this place is not really, here we are not attaining the goal of life. Here we are not meant to endeavor for fulfillment. Here we're in a transit place. As you sit in a lounge waiting to catch a vehicle, a plane, a train, or whatever it is, and you're sitting in the lounge. Now, we can criticize the lounge and say, gosh, why they make such uncomfortable chairs, or like, is anyone going to clean the garbage, or, gosh, why they wait till the last moment, we can criticize the whole operation. But if someone gets really serious about moving in and brings the sofa and a standing lamp, and sets it all up with a table and some little flower vase on it and a cup of tea, in the departure lounge, something weird going on today. We're just sort of camping out. We're not settling in. So yes, the material world is not a playground, it's a camping ground. That's what it is. We're basically camping here. That's all it is. Camp. Yeah, set up your camp somewhere around the block. We don't really live here. We don't live here. We're just camping out. That's what it is. Temporary residence. Yeah. Chalega. There's temporary residence. Why bother to invest so much? This is the foundation of Vedic culture. Vedic culture is therefore not concerned so much with how to make the perfect situation. In Europe, one famous country is Switzerland. And what is it? It's famous for? That it is so clean. Very clean, very nice. Everything is just nice white picket fences, nice boxes with flowers under the windows, and everything is new, and everything is clean, and everything is first class. So, which mode of nature would you think it is in? Goodness, you think, sattvic. No? No. Wrong. Failed the test. Miserably. Back to zero. It's the mode of passion. The whole thing is about the mode of passion. It is about making the material world so beautiful, perfect for enjoyment, you see. That's what it's about. It's the mode of passion that drives the whole thing. It's not the mode of goodness, you see. We've done it. Paradise on earth. We've got it. Swiss cheese, Swiss chocolate, Swiss bank account, Swiss passport, Swiss. Done. Right? And this is the mode of passion, because the mode of passion is simply trying to create a little paradise on earth. Right? Like in Australia, a little similar. We call them POMs, which means prisoner of Mother England, right? The guys that got stuck over there, they send the convicts to Australia, and hey, those convicts, they're doing great. They're having a party. They're enjoying like anything, and the suckers, the losers, are the POMs, They're still at home, prisoners of Mother England, sitting there in that drab country. Yes, POMs they are. That's the whole idea. And we've got paradise. That's the mode of ignorance. That's illusion. illusion, passion and ignorance. We are. So the Vedic literature is very sober and is giving us a very clear vision. So Arjuna is here as a warrior, not just a passionate muscle man who happens to be into martial arts, right? Not just some, one of those black belt guys who walking around flexing his muscles, or what Arjuna says his shirt, watch out, black belt, no, Arjuna is a very noble person. Arjuna is a very principled man. Arjuna is not living for his passions. Arjuna is living for a sense of duty. Arjuna is upholding duty. Arjuna is looking at keeping a social environment where the entire society gets uplifted. It's not what we got these days. Whatever we got these days is like a lot of confusion. So Arjuna is basing his life on Vedic knowledge. He's teaching it, he's upholding it, he's protecting it, and in this way, he is a warrior. Now, because Ashvatthama had acted in such a horrible way, killing 5 innocent children, and what can guarantee us that he won't do it again? Someone like that, you can't let them loose. So that was the first thing. And so there was a whole situation. The Pandavas were there, all the 5 Pandavas were there, Krishna was there, and they were divided. Draupadi said, no, I don't want to see him killed because he's the son of our Guru, and I don't want to see his mother suffer as I'm suffering. It were her 5 sons that had been killed. The mother, her 5 sons have been killed. And she is like compassionate and say, no, don't kill him. Because I don't want his mother to go what I'm going through. Because his mother is an exalted personality. No, that I don't want to see. So she is very compassionate. Bhima is saying he should be killed. He's a murderer of innocent children. He should be killed. Definitely. Absolutely. Yudhishthira is swaying towards compassion. He's on the side of Draupadi. And Krishna, but Krishna says, no. Arjuna, this is your duty, justice has to be done. He's a murderer. Then, there is a rule. Murderers, no, he's a murderer. 5 innocent children, no, he should not be spared. So now Arjuna is there in the middle, and then Bhima says, if nobody makes up his mind here, if nobody will kill this culprit, I will do it myself. And Draupadi jumps in between and says, no, Bhima, that's a big drama. And then, Krishna manifests 2 extra arms and gets in between Draupadi and Bhima and separates them. It's convenient for us. Separates them. And then Arjuna gets the final judgment. All right, Arjuna, what will you do now? You captured him. You defeated him. Therefore, it is your duty now to take action and nobody else. Arjuna, do your duty. Then Ashvatthama, who was the son of Dronacharya, a great Brahmana, Ashvatthama, who had been trained as a Brahmana and who was going through the world as a qualified Brahmana, Ashvatthama, as a Brahmana, had his hair, his long hair, tied in a top knot on his head. And in that top knot, Ashvatthama was wearing a jewel. Oh yes. There was a jewel on his head and everyone could see, oh, look at this illustrious Brahmana. Oh, look at him. Ah, yes. Blink, blink, blink. Visible for all to be seen. Then Arjuna did the most terrible thing. No. What did he do? He pulled his sword and he raised it and just swung it at a great speed. And in one blow, cut the jewel off Aswatthama's head. And with that, he killed him and he didn't kill him. Just see. He killed him. He killed his reputation. He killed his identity. Aswatthama was no more jewel, no more reputation. He was an outcast. He was no longer a Brahmana. Socially just an outcast. Right there and then. It was terrible. It was terrible to be so humiliated, a Brahmana. It was really inconceivable, but that's what happened. Aswatthama was treated for what he was, a low-class man, an animal, right? Sent out. So, in this way, Arjuna resolved the issue, and that was an amazing way to resolve it. So it's very interesting because we can see that Arjuna was not a fundamentalist. You know, here's the order of the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord has expressed the desire he should be killed. The Lord, you know, holy war, cut the heads, attack, 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 in the name of religion, kill, 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 it is my duty. No, that was not Arjuna. Arjuna used his brain. He deeply reflected. He was a person who was thoughtful. He was not passionate. Oh, got the order, cut the head, bang, done. Right. Yeah, perfectly bona fide, you know. Got the order of the supreme authority. No, can't find a better one than that. Right? Anyone wants to argue with that? Supreme Lord ordered it. Then, you know, you want to argue with that? Your hands next to him. No, he deeply, deeply thought. It's not just this one instruction. That must be fulfilled. That is clear. But I must see it in the context of the entire desire of the Supreme Lord. As he expressed it, it must make sense. It must be consistent. It must be coherent. It cannot just be one act. No, it's part of a whole understanding. So in great depth, Arjuna contemplated, and in great depth he acted. And then he acted in an enlightened way, and did fulfill the instruction, and yet also fulfilled the compassionate spirit. That is the appropriate way. So we also we may have a wonderful philosophy. We may think that it's the best. Everybody thinks their philosophy is the best, otherwise you would go do something else. But we have good reasons. We have a whole list of arguments. Maybe we can present why we think we have the best philosophy, and so on. That this is the truth and nothing but the truth. All right, we have the truth. But how are we going to behave with the truth? Are we going to raise our sword? Are we going to try and smash the world? Are we going to, prove everybody wrong? Are we just going to establish our superiority? Or are we going to be controlled? Are we going to embody noble qualities like Arjuna, who through his noble nature conquered? All the philosophy in the world cannot even convince your own children. You can try to bring up your kids with a great philosophy, and we wish you well. But it won't work unless you are a noble person. If you are a noble person, if you're an amazing personality, then the kids will be impressed and then say, you know, my father, my mother, they were such amazing people. They were actually into Krishna consciousness. I was recently in Mauritius and I was invited for some interview on the national television, and the interviewer, he was from an Indian background, but an Indian family who lived in Zimbabwe. Right? And then in Zimbabwe, the situation became very difficult so many years ago that his parents left Zimbabwe and went to Mauritius when he was 10. And it said at that time he had to integrate into this country, and they speak this language, Creole, which is some mixture of some sort of simplified French, and it was difficult. So anyway, there was a school teacher, and this school teacher used to tutor kids at home. And a whole bunch of kids would be there in his house, always that he was tutoring. So since he had difficulties with the language, he also got tutoring and so on. And then this teacher had the habit that whatever kid came to the house, they would get a full meal. And he's describing all this and how nice the teacher was. And then he said, yeah, this teacher also was connected with Hare Krishna actually. As soon as we heard that, we understand. We understood what was going on. It was prasadam. The teacher was doing prasadam distribution. And any kids, that was his preaching, any kid come to the house getting full plate of prasadam. That was what was going on. And of course, the interviewer didn't know that. He just thought it. But he said, this teacher, he said, is such an amazing person. Huh? He had so much influence in my life. He said, that teacher, he was really, the most inspiring man I ever met. That was basically his mood. Well, the interview, it was a breeze, it was like, I'm coming in, I'm sitting down, camera, background, everything is there. And he says, maybe we should move your chair a little closer. I don't want it to be impersonal, right? I'd like it to be personal. Good beginning for everybody. That already started good. He wants it to be personal. Then he has all these favorable questions and this and that, and and at the end, it was just the last shot was I took his hand and I said, I thank you so much. I said, this was more than an interview today. I said, today I feel I met a friend. And that's the end of the whole thing. But it was just like, it was just, he was a devotee, but he didn't know. And therefore, but somehow or other, his teacher, with his noble behavior, had made him a devotee, although he didn't know he was one. He was. He behaved like one, simply because of his noble teacher. So ultimately, if we want to spread this movement, if we want this wonderful philosophy to really turn into a wonderful way of life, because there's a big difference between a wonderful philosophy and a wonderful way of life, then the challenge is for us to become noble personalities. Well, that was it this morning, and good luck with all of that. I wish you well. And, there's many a slip between the cup and the lip. So, how to be a noble person? That is the question, which I will not answer this morning, but that I'm sending you home with, basically. That's your homework. Any questions? Any comments?
Thank you for the class. Later in the Bhagavatam, we hear about Ashwatthama becoming the next Vyasa. So how is it such a character is able to get such a qualified position to be able to teach the Vedas?
So it is said that Ashwatthama, he left. Ashwatthama was an interesting personality. Being the son of Dronacharya, who was a great, exalted Brahminical teacher. Remember, Dronacharya had even taken on the son of Drupada. Although Drupada was his enemy, Drupada had done a sacrifice to get a son who could kill Drona. And Drona is teaching him the art of military science. Although that son is predicted to kill him. Think of Drona. Why did Drona do that? Because he was a Brahmana and it was his duty to teach, and he happened to be teaching military science. So he taught him. Drona was such a noble, was very dedicated to spiritual principles. He had some weaknesses also, but still exalted. His son was not an ordinary person. His son also had been invested with a lot of training, a lot of education by his qualified father, who had planted all this good instruction in him, and who had engaged him in many purifying activities and so on. So all that benefit was there. Then on the other side, somehow or other the son became carried away and became very hateful of the Pandavas and his dad, and tried to revenge the death of his father. His father had been killed by some trick, and therefore he was very angry and wanted to take revenge. So he should not have had that kind of anger. He should have had the Brahminical quality of forgiveness. So Ashwatthama had been punished. His jewel had been cut off his head. So Ashwatthama left that place and roamed around the earth. But it is not that Ashwatthama was just wandering and wandering and wandering and just roaming like an outcast, and having no. Ashwatthama realized he had made the greatest mistake. Therefore Ashwatthama decided that all he could do was perform great austerity in order to purify himself. Somehow or other, we see that the Mahabharata pastimes are somehow or other also touching Vraj. Because we see that in Vraj, in the 12 forests of Vrindavan, in Kamyavan, there are residences where the Pandavas resided. And there are palaces and so on, and pastimes that took place there. For example, that one with the plate, Draupadi's plate, and Durvasa Muni, and the meal, and all the plate that could provide unlimited prasad, but whatever, then it was the Akshay Patra, then it was too late. Because after she had eaten, they came, that didn't work. That all happened there in Kamyavan. So it is mentioned that Ashwatthama went also to Kamyavan, and that he's still there today, performing austerities. in Kamyama. So, after all that austerity, you'll again become purified. Because no contamination is eternal. Yeah. So one can become purified. So he again becomes purified. And because of the otherwise very exalted qualities he had, therefore he attains, in the end, such an exalted position. Yeah, it's like you had John F. Kennedy Jr., not the president, but the son of the president. So there's a very interesting karma, because this person was born in one of the wealthiest families, extremely rich. But as a kid, his father is shot dead in front of his eyes. Right? He's 10 years old. Anyway, life goes on, you know. And he is just living in all this wealth and all this opulence. And then, when he's age 35, he is flying a plane and he plunges into the ocean and he drowns and dies. Now look at his karma. On the one hand, he had super good karma, incredibly good karma, got all this wealth. And on the other hand, quite bad karma. Father killed in front of his eyes, drowning in the oceans at 35. It's pretty bad karma. So a combination of very good and very bad karma. Look at Asvatthama like that. Combination of very good and very bad karma. Yeah. So that's also a little bit there in us. We have the good karma in Australia, Sydney, fun city, and at the same time. What about the bad karma side? Do we have that also? Maybe. Anyway, the uninvolved observer chants Hare Krishna. And in that way, has no worries, because he's a Vaikuntha man, which means a no-worry man. Vaikuntha, free from anxiety. Okay. I hear you, but yeah.
What was that story of the noble bear that you tell us sometimes?
What is that?
What was that story? The story of the noble bear that you tell us?
The noble bear story. You want to know? You want the noble bear story? No, noble bear story. It's from the Ramayana, and in the Ramayana, it comes to the point where the battle has been won. Sita has been kidnapped. Sita is kept in an Ashoka grove on the island Lanka, you know, and there Ravana's abode, the man-eating monster king. And then Ravana is defeated and Hanuman is there. So Hanuman, he had been there before in this Ashoka grove, he knew where it was. So Hanuman, after the battle, went to inform Sita. He came and he said, "The battle is won! Ravana is dead. You are free to go." Meanwhile, there are these Rakshasis, these ladies that had been appointed by Ravana to torture Sita and to harass her. So then they're still there. So Hanuman sees them. And Hanuman says, we still have some Rakshasis here. I'll just kill them and then we can go. And then Sita says, no, Hanuman, we can't kill them. He says, no, it's okay. I can do it. It's nothing for me. I'll do it in a snap. It's nothing. I'll just fix them up. And then Sita says, no, Hanuman. And then she tells the story. Once upon a time, there was a hunter in the forest. And this hunter was just killing various animals, and he was going around, and all the animals were running in fear. Then he had a bow and arrow, which is like, it's a weapon, but still a little simple. He comes with his bow and arrow, shooting left and right, and then suddenly he faces a tiger 1 meter away from him. This tiger looking straight in the face. I mean, in front of a tiger, what's a little bow gonna do? You shoot an arrow in a tiger, it's not gonna work. The hunter was a professional, he knew it very well. So he ran for his life. And the tiger on his heels, the hot breath in his neck, somehow or other, a tree. He climbed up in this tree, he's up in the tree, and there's a bear. Oh my God, he looks down at the tiger, up at the bear. Then the bear speaks, the tiger speaks, and the tiger says to the bear, he says, you see that man? He's a hunter. He's our mutual enemy. If you kick him down, I will eat him. The bear says, no, I cannot do that because he's a guest in my home. So I must welcome him, look after him. Then the tiger says to the hunter, he says to the hunter, you see that bear? If you kick down that bear, I'll eat that bear instead of you. Immediately the hunter kicks down the bear and the bear falls down and but grabs a branch, climbs back up, and the tiger says to the bear, he said, you see that man? You see that man, such a treacherous creature. You protected him. You gave him shelter in your home. You selflessly protected him. And what did he do? He kicked you down. I tell you, bear, kick down this hunter now before he'll kick you again. No, says the bear. I cannot do that. The fact that he misbehaved doesn't justify that I will misbehave as well. And so the bear did not kick down the hunter. So in this way, Sita made the point. The fact that they misbehaved doesn't justify that we misbehaved. Therefore, Hanuman, no, you cannot kill them. Hanuman, okay. Yes. So that's the noble bear story. Yeah, let us all be noble bears. Right?
I wanted to tell that to Gopal, but I don't remember.
Tell Gopal to be a noble bear. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada.
Yeah.